Today's rat of the day is, drumroll please, YouTube.
And exposing the fake news to bring you this important news bulletin about new censorship policies that are rolling out and being implemented on YouTube that have affected and will continue to affect not only my channel but every channel that dares to tell the truth. As this Gizmodo article explains, YouTube has a new naughty corner for controversial religious and quote supremacist videos. Well, what does that mean, you ask? YouTube has clarified how it plans to handle videos that don't violate any of its policies but still contain, quote, offensive religious and supremacist content. They're going to hide them and make sure that they can't make any money. In a blog post today, YouTube provided a better sense of what that stance entails. Now, when YouTube decides a flagged video doesn't break content policy, but still contains controversial religious or, quote, supremacist content, the video will be put in a limited state. Here, the video will exist in a sort of limbo where it won't be recommended or monetized. It also won't be included in the suggested videos or allowed to have comments or likes on it. This right-wing alternative media figures and, quote, conspiracy theorists have been complaining for weeks that YouTube is already manipulating the algorithms to limit their reach and revenue. And guess what? When I clicked on this hyperlink, it's linked to one of my videos, the one that I did previously explaining how YouTube had locked one of my videos on private. YouTube has also admitted that they're literally going to start manipulating the search results for certain topics and show people videos to try to debunk the ideas that they're looking up. I'm not kidding. So for example, if you're looking for a video about why it's crazy to say that there's 85 different genders, they're going to manipulate the search results to show videos saying why there should be 85 different genders. We've started to roll out features from Jigsaw's redirect method to YouTube. When people search for sensitive keywords on YouTube, they will be redirected towards a playlist of curated YouTube videos that directly confront and debunk violent extremist messages, which also just means the truth. Oh, and by the way, who did YouTube team up with to help them determine which videos are sensitive and extremist and offensive? The ADL. The same organization which literally labeled Pepe the Frog, a cartoon frog, as a hate symbol. Pepe the Frog designated a hate symbol by the ADL, a cartoon frog! Oh, and what a coincidence that these new censorship policies are being implemented just a few weeks after the Sun Valley Conference, which is basically like the Bilderberg Group meeting of the media. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, it's YouTube's CEO, Susan Wojcicki, meeting with Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, where she tweeted out, "Thanks for coming by the YouTube headquarters, Cenk. Great talking with you." This is the same woman, by the way, who when asked by CNN what kind of sexism problems she's faced in Silicon Valley, said that people interrupt her sometimes and say things that are annoying. So I think it's safe to say that the Young Turks, the big liberal royalty of YouTube, aren't going to have any of their videos demonetized or have any restrictions placed on them. Nope, special treatment for the Young Turks. For those who aren't aware, since April when the big advertising apocalypse hit YouTube, they basically mass demonetized news channels and it's been absolutely devastating for full-time creators. How devastating, you ask? Well, let me just have the CEO of Patreon explain.
It sucks that it's 2017 and you've got creators with millions of fans getting paid a few $100 a month. That sucks.
It does suck, and I wasn't joking when I said if you work at McDonald's, you could probably make more money than a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers. So thanks again to all my Patreons, and you guys who got my back through PayPal. For those, it's only going to get more Orwellian as time goes on. Because not only do they want us to shut up, they want us to be shut down.
YouTube says it will fight extremist content by censoring controversial videos. Who are they teaming up with to oversee this new program? Must be someone non-partisan, trustworthy, credible. A group that clearly knows the difference between free speech and violent hate speech, right? It's the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. Oh, shit. But wait, I mean, surely YouTube wouldn't just hand power to those who would easily abuse it. This is a serious organisation. The ADL's bar for hate speech must be pretty high, right? I mean, what is it? Advocating for genocide, calling for violence against Jews? Oh, they literally think a cartoon frog is hate speech. That's how low the bar is. The ADL put the grandson of a survivor of the Nazi occupation on a list alongside actual neo-Nazis and white supremacists, simply because he's a conservative. They also listed a bunch of other conservatives next to actual neo-Nazis. Oh, but they're the impartial, rational, neutral outfit that's now going to thought police YouTube. They're not partisan at all. So a group whose entire existence and millions of dollars in funding every year relies on fanning hysteria over hate speech is now being given the power by YouTube to patrol hate speech. Gee, what could possibly go wrong? Who else is working with YouTube to patrol hate speech? The Institute for Strategic Dialogue, a group that runs a program on far-right extremism in coordination with the Swedish government. Oh, you mean the same Swedish government that put 14,000 people, most of them conservative commentators, on a Twitter hate speech block list. The same Swedish government that put PewDiePie, a dude whose content consists mostly of him playing video games, on that same hate speech block list. A government that thinks posting factual statistics about the link between migrants and violent crime is an act of hate speech. What could possibly go wrong? Who else gets to decide what is and isn't hate speech on YouTube? The No Hate Speech Movement, a group that says websites that criticize Islam are hate speech. A group that says the President of the United States should be banned from Twitter for hate speech. Yeah, that bar still seems pretty low, doesn't it? But hey, I guess YouTube are just following the example of Twitter and Facebook. When Twitter wanted to crack down on abuse and harassment, they teamed up with feminists who think telling them they suck is abuse and harassment.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic.
When Facebook wanted to crack down on fake news, they teamed up with Snopes, the credible, independent outlet that isn't left of Stalin and doesn't embezzle money to spend on luxury vacations and prostitutes. Oh, but don't worry, because YouTube says they're not going to censor controversial videos. They're just going to hide them, make sure they can't appear in the recommended bar, be liked or commented on, but they're not censoring them, honest. Let's get real. In the context of politics, the right has completely taken over YouTube. Even Vice.com had to admit it. The adpocalypse was only the beginning. Unless we bitch and moan about this over and over again, this is the start of the purge. And even if you're not a conservative, you should still be alarmed. They're going after anyone who isn't advertiser friendly, which is basically anyone outside the limits of the narrow consensus of opinion that they subjectively define. Maybe we have allies within the company that can put a stop to this. But unless we fight back, this is the beginning of the end for free speech on YouTube.
But YouTube decided, well, we want to go beyond that. We want to, even if you abide by the terms of service and don't advocate anything hateful or illegal, but we still may find your speech objectionable. So we've brought in a group to basically monitor your speech on videos and to censor you. And if they censor you, they'll either like turn off your comments, they'll demonetize you, which has already happened to me. I no longer make money on YouTube, by the way. Or just hide it. So when you do a search, it's hard to find your videos. They want to try to silence certain political ideas. And who do they bring in to do this? They brought in the Anti-Defamation League. Yeah, an Anti-Defamation League is a Jewish organization that usually runs around defaming people that they don't like. You know, they create a hit list, and that's who it is, right? So you have this racially ethnic organization that composes Jews. They compose less than 2% of the American population. So we have less than 2% of the American population with this Jewish group determining what Americans can say and what they can't say. The ADL now is America's official censor. Because YouTube and Google, because it's so huge, it's like a monopoly. They are the de facto platform for videos, and this is their way to kind of bypass the First Amendment to silence speech. And I have to admit, when I read this, it just outraged me, because I've always been very sympathetic towards Jewish people in general. I have nothing against Israel. I've had friends that are Jewish. I think they're in generally smart, productive people. But I've always been told, you know, all this persecution against the Jews, and sometimes people ask, well, why? Well, why is this? And, you know, the Jews would always say, oh, we don't know because we're such lovely people. It's just mass mental illness. They have to scapegoat someone. That's why. It's not because of our actions. No, never. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I see something like this, right? We have the face of censorship in America now is a Jewish organization. Let that sink in. Is that what George Washington and Thomas Jefferson wanted? No, that wasn't about America. America was you could get on your soapbox and you can speak. And if you don't like what someone says, ADL, then create your own fucking videos and dispute it. But that's not their way. Their way is violence, to shut down people, to try to hurt you financially, to try to target you to violence. That's the group. And this is a group now that owns it, and it's crazy. And I said in a tweet, the ADL is more responsible for anti-Semitism than the Daily Stormer. Because actually the Daily Stormer, and groups previously to that, the ADL has actually funded. I'm not sure about the Daily Stormer, but other ones in the 60s and 70s and 80s, they did, because that over-the-top neo-Nazi stuff and calling Jews bad names, they love that because it helps with their fundraising. That helps to say, oh, look at this. This is how evil they are. Don't embrace nationalism. You don't want to be a skinhead type. See, they love that. But they hate normal people discussing topics in a rational manner. So that's what they want to shut down. So normal people, when they see the Daily Stormer, they don't get upset at the Jews, but when they see Jewish groups trying to censor regular people, that creates a lot of hatred. That creates a lot of people pissed off of like, why the fuck is this group telling us as Americans what we can say and what we can't say? So I think it's stupid. I think it's a strategic error on the Jews' part to do this. But if they want to do that, fine. They fucking own it. They own the censorship in America. I hope everyone remembers that. Congratulations, ADL, for helping perpetuate a stereotype. The second thing is, this just proves that we need to help going out of this system. I mean, we can't get away from YouTube, but we can go after other funding sources. So not just myself, but other people that you can help to fund because they're not going to be able to get their funding anymore via videos because the ADL censors and their little councils like the Sanhedrin are going to determine what you can hear and what you can't hear. So we need to break that. The second thing we need to focus on is Bannon, and I agree with it. We need to look at these companies like Google and Facebook as basically being monopolies, and they need to be regulated. Just like with the phone service couldn't cut off what you say based on your political views. They shouldn't be able to shut down speech because of your views. And I don't give a fuck about the libertarian argument because we don't live in a libertarian society. These big corporations are like this with the government, like this. And if you try to compete against them, the government will squash you with their IRS regulations. So don't give me that bullshit libertarian argument. We don't live in that society. These are de facto government institutions. They should not be allowed to violate the First Amendment. I don't give a shit how much ovays come out because of that. The third thing is don't be black-pilled. I was black-pilled initially, but these same groups, like the ADL, were responsible for Bolshevism and Marxism, and they responsible for murder, red terror, concentration camps. These same assholes are back in charge again. We need a fight. We defeated them before. We need to fight with them again. We can get around this system, and we don't have to submit. Talk to you guys later.
People say, oh, you're always bitching about YouTube and Twitter and Facebook censoring you. Yes, we have to bitch about it several times a month, simply to stay one step ahead of it. If we said absolutely nothing, just rolled over and took it, then things would be very different today. We're using their platforms against them. We're going to continue to do that. YouTube has a new naughty corner for controversial religious and supremacist videos. Today, YouTube clarified how it plans to handle videos that don't violate any of its policies. Oh, really? So you can conform with all their policies, but they're going to censor you anyway because they don't like what you're saying. Oh, but it's not censorship. They're just going to hide your videos and not allow anyone to like or comment on them, not allow anyone to recommend them. But it's not censorship. The news comes as a status report on the promises made by Google General Counsel Kent Walker in a June Financial Times op-ed, which announced YouTube was taking several steps to inhibit extremist videos. And of course, that is what it's always sold on. We're going to stop ISIS videos. Bunk 'em. Absolute crap. They always use this to censor political people. In fact, Jordan B. Peterson, who by no means is vulgar or profane, he's a Christian, just had his YouTube account temporarily suspended. He was locked out of it, no explanation whatsoever. That was probably another example of leftists mass flagging his channel. We have a similar situation on Facebook. This is what's happening. But now they're saying that the ADL, they're going to team up with the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, to patrol hate speech on YouTube. But it's the way they present it, like this is a trusted, credible group. Absolutely amazing. Similar to Salon.com. Of course, we had Facebook last year, where it was revealed that they were curating their trending topics list to downplay, to censor conservative topics of conversation, to boost artificially Black Lives Matter, even though organically it shouldn't have appeared at the top of their trending list. They had individuals working for Facebook go in and artificially put that at the top of the list to push their political agenda. And they always come out after and say, oh, we're completely non-partisan. BS. Every single time it's BS. Don't trust them. So now you've got Snopes.com. Of course, last year coming out, Facebook announced that they would team up with Snopes.com to fact-check fake news posted on Facebook. And in fact, they had an advisory that popped up alongside some Facebook posts which said, disputed by multiple independent fact-checkers. Before you share this content, you might want to know that the fact-checking sites Associated Press and Snopes.com disputed its accuracy. Because Snopes.com is really impartial and independent, isn't it? They don't literally make up quotes like they did when I wrote an article. I'll tell you about Snopes.com. Okay, so I wrote an article. This is how independent they are. This is how much credibility they have when it comes to fact-checking and debunking urban myths. So I wrote an article last year, 1 month before the election, based on the Podesta WikiLeaks emails, entitled Clinton Campaign Email Outlines Effort to Produce an Unaware and Compliant Citizenry. And that was a direct quote from a WikiLeaks email sent to John Podesta by former Clinton administration official Bill Ivey on March 13, 2016. So he literally said, that is a quote, that they have an effort, this is the quote, to produce an unaware and compliant citizenry. That was the quote. I wrote an article about it. It was a quote, direct quote from the article. Snopes.com took this article and said, no, this is fake news. This is an urban myth. He didn't say this because he didn't mean to say it. And they actually got in contact with this guy, and he gave them an alternative quote of what he meant to say in the original email to John Podesta. So they literally invented a new quote of what he meant to say to try and go back and change the record retroactively. This email in which he gave a direct quote saying they want to produce an unaware and compliant citizenry. So the Snopes.com basically said, oh no, he didn't mean that, even though it's a direct quote. Here's a new quote that we've just made up out of thin air with the approval of this guy, and now you're debunked. That's literally what they did, making up quotes, and they say I'm debunked when I quoted the original email. Oh, and by the way, here's an article out of the Daily Mail about Snopes.com, the independent, impartial, neutral fact-checking website. Fact-checking website Snopes on verge of collapse after founder is accused of fraud, lies, and putting prostitutes and his honeymoon on expenses. And it hasn't told its readers those facts. Fact-checking website Snopes is on the verge of financial collapse after its owner was accused of embezzling company funds to pay for his contentious divorce battle and lavish overseas trips with his new wife. Dumped his fat, frumpy previous wife, a former Las Vegas escort and porn actress. The company's financial woes have gotten so bad that Snopes owner David Mickelson started a crowdfunding website pleading for donations this week, which raised over $500,000 from generous readers in its first day. I'm sure they didn't have any foundation backing for that either. But DailyMail.com can disclose significant facts which are entirely missing from the fact-checking website's version of events, including the fraud allegations against Mickelson. And then the article goes through it. So this is the credible, sober, impartial, neutral organization literally run by far left cranks who blow all the money on hookers and holidays, but you can trust them. They don't have any partisan agenda. No, you can trust them. That's who Facebook's working with.
Hey guys, I've got to be honest, I'm not happy with this level of censorship. The right-wing pundit Gabe Zolna has been banned from YouTube, it appears. My channel, my own subscribers no longer get notifications when I go live. I'm treated as a hate speech channel. Even though I'm not hate speech, I'm a Jew. I'm a former Huffington Post contributor, former Business Insider contributor, not a neo-Nazi, not a hate speech guy, and yet my own people no longer see my channel. This is silencing, this is shadow banning. I'm being censored in my own country by an American tech company. Now this would be to be expected if Hillary had won. If Hillary had won, of course globalist Google would be censoring my views, but Donald Trump won. Why is this still happening? And McMaster, General McMaster, I understand, is firing anti-globalists left and right in the White House and the National Security Council and replacing them with pro-Muslim whack jobs, replacing them with the same out-of-touch academics who Obama appointed. We don't need these out-of-touch pro-Muslim academics. Masterminding our military policy doesn't make any sense. The Muslims are the ones blowing us up. Pedophile has not been prosecuted. His disgusting pedophile brother, Tony Podesta, has not been prosecuted. Nobody in the Clinton family has been prosecuted. Clinton propagandist David Brock, who is paid directly by George Soros, he has not been prosecuted. What is Donald Trump doing? I understand that Donald Trump's new White House Chief of Staff, General Kelly, called Jeff Sessions to assure him he has job security. I no longer support Jeff Sessions. I no longer support this old man who doesn't go after John Podesta, a serial pedophile, lets him go on CNN. That was just yesterday. John Podesta is a free man. He's a guest on CNN. He has a contributing column at the Washington Post. He has more of a media career than I do. I lost my Huffington Post column as a result of all this stuff, as a result of covering Hillary's health and then John Podesta's being a pedophile. Now John Podesta has more of a media platform than I do. It's insane. Donald Trump is not getting the job done. Sorry, but he's not getting the job done. And how do I know that? Because I'm being censored by an American tech company, Google, when I'm an American journalist broadcasting right here in the US of A. I'm right in Denver, Colorado, so why am I being censored? Not hate speech, a well-known journalist, and yet only 148 of you are watching live, 150,000 subscribers. That means that 1% of you watching live would be 1,500 people, and yet not even 1% are watching. About 1/10 of my audience is watching. YouTube is fucking us. They banned Gabe Zolna. They briefly deleted Jordan Peterson's account, a Western academic who is also not a hate speech guy. This is censorship. This is thought control. To be expected if Hillary had won, but Donald Trump won. So why is Trump allowing Google, an American company, why is he allowing Google to censor me and other Donald Trump supporters? This is not freedom. It's happening under the Trump administration. Why is Trump allowing H.R. McMaster, this bald globalist piece of shit, why is he allowing McMaster to clean out all of the anti-globalists in his administration? There was a headline just the other day that McMaster fired somebody for simply penning a memo about globalism and the risks of it. There's something wrong with McMaster. He needs to go. We don't want American soldiers being used as cannon fodder for Lynn Rothschild's family. Now, is this making America great again, or is this just a rebrand for the Rothschilds? We will know Trump is the real deal when there are investigations and trials into the Rothschild family. You can use the RICO Act. These people are criminals and terrorists. The Rothschilds and George Soros are criminals and terrorists. try them under the RICO Act. Unless he does that, we know he's covering for them. These people damn near destroyed our country, Soros and the Rothschild family. Damn near destroyed it. So unless there are criminal investigations into the Rothschilds and into George Soros, we know that unfortunately Trump is not what he says he is, because if Trump was what he said he is, he would be doing something to Google for censoring not only me, but many voices who supported him. Why isn't Trump getting the back of the people who support him? This censorship on YouTube is un-American, yet the Trump administration does nothing. In fact, I understand Google has gotten some key seats in the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Trump is doing nothing about this censorship. Hillary didn't win, Trump won, so why is Google censoring us? Why are they censoring us? This is like China. Why are they censoring us? Trump does nothing, and McMaster should not be our military mind. This globalist bald tool, McMaster, should not be our leading military mind. He wants soldiers to die for Lynn Rothschild's economic interests. I disagree. Get rid of this fucking this fucker who's spamming us with Arabic. Can one of the moderators block him, because no other comments are coming up? What kind of shit is this? You can't even comment on the comment box anymore because somebody's posting Arabic spam. Is this my own fucking country? You guys, that's not my fault. You guys can't comment because somebody keeps posting spam in Arabic. I mean, is this America? Is this fucking America? Trump needs to take real action. Google should not be censoring me at all. I'm one of the best journalists in the country. I'm not extreme, not a radical, not violent, definitely not hate speech. I'm a Jew. Why would I be spreading hate speech? I'm a minority. I'm a minority. So why am I being treated as hate speech? Oh, that's right, because the pedophile ring is terrified of my coverage. They're fucking terrified. I guarantee you there are pedophiles at Google. This treatment doesn't make any sense. I guarantee you there are some pedophiles at Google, and they've done very little to remove the child porn from YouTube. Why is that? You fucks are going to be held criminally liable. I guarantee you there will be investigations into Congress. The American people are pissed. I mean, for me to be censored, it's my own audience. You're not sending the notifications to my own YouTube subscribers. You're allowing Arabic spammers to take up the whole fucking comment section. I mean, enough is enough. So whoever's destroying my comment section, I don't appreciate it. Someone's destroying my comment section. How is this allowed? How is this fucking allowed? I mean, I can't even run a live stream. How is this allowed? Nobody can block him. His comment can't be blocked. And this is a scam. Multiple troll accounts copying and pasting. This is insane. This is fucking insane. This is fucking insane. In-fucking sane. Alright, I'm adding a bunch of you guys as moderators. Let's get rid of that Arabic spammer. Fuck you, Arabic spammer. In America, First Amendment protections. You don't get to destroy my comment box. You're gone now, bitch, aren't you? You're gone. God is great. Look at that. You can't comment anymore, Arabic spammer. You're all gone. And guess what? God is great. And America is great. And women in skirts is great. And good beer is great. And pork is great. America and God are great. Bet that Arabic piece of shit doesn't like that. You're trying to infringe on my speech and on the speech of my users. Not very nice. How are his comments not able to be reported? How is this happening? What the fuck is this? What is this harassment? What is this harassment? I mean, this is insane. Who would do this? This is actually insane. Why would somebody do this? I don't understand how this is fucking possible. Well, we can just turn off the comments. Let's do that. Just turn them off. No comments. No comments. Now I'm just going to do my show. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, there's an Arabic spammer who's spamming the comment section so bad that nobody can post. God is great. God is great. And the pedophiles will be brought down. I'll never stop speaking until Lynn Rothschild is in a cage for her crimes. Won't even let me speak in my own comments section. I feel like my rights are infringed. I do. I feel like my rights as a middle-aged American citizen are infringed. As a 30-something guy who's committed no crimes and is in general very peaceful, I'm being banned and censored on my own YouTube channel and in the comments box of my own YouTube channel, one place where you think I would be free to share my opinions. I can't even read anything because an Arabic spammer keeps posting bullshit. So that means Google has a rigged platform. They're not sending out notifications. They don't mind that there are spammers in the comments section. This is bullshit. This isn't freedom. This isn't fucking freedom. And somebody, how is this guy not able to be blocked? So when you post a comment, how does it then disappear immediately? Let's figure this out. Let's ban this piece of shit. How does that work? How is it that when you post the comment, he's gone automatically? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is war. You're censoring an American for no reason at all, an American tech company censoring me for no reason at all. My comment section is filled with Arabic spammers, so my own users can no longer interact with each other. This is war. These are just people who are censoring us. Just people in California. Mountain View, California is where Google is based. You're allowing my comment section to be overrun with spammers, and you're not sending out notifications to my own YouTube subscribers, and you apparently banned or deleted Gabe Zolna. This is censorship in my own country. To be expected if Hillary had won, but Donald Trump won. So why is this happening? Why is Trump allowing his supporters to be censored by American tech companies? So it just shows you that they're really threatened by what we're saying, to have to push me to the sidelines, to have to fill my comments section so that none of you guys can communicate. They're terrified of the awakening that is happening. None of us will be quiet until there are criminal investigations into the Rothschild family and into George Soros. These people are criminals and terrorists. Terrorists in every single definition. They match every single definition of the word terrorist. The Rothschilds are terrorists. Absolute terrorists. And whoever is censoring these feeds at Google, you're just an American citizen. You're just some bitch sitting in Mountain View, California. And there will be repercussions. Physical protests in front of your offices, congressional investigations. Whoever is censoring me, I would not be surprised if in 6 months or a year, you're personally dragged in front of somebody to testify. There's going to be proper response to this. You can't do this to your own citizens in your own country when you claim to be an American company. You can't do this. I don't feel free anymore. I feel like I'm in fucking North Korea. You're not sending out notifications to your own people. YouTube is broken. This is censorship. I mean, this is not okay. John Podesta was on CNN yesterday. People can't comment because Arabic spammers have taken over. This is fucking craziness. Why is John Podesta still free? Why is Tony Podesta still free? Why is David Brock still free? Why is Hillary still free? Why is Bill Clinton still free? It's insane. It's starting to feel like Trump was the cover-up for the swamp, like he was the cover-up for Lynn Rothschild, rather than their worst nightmare. And of course, I'm deeply disappointed as a human being.
This is really bad.
Start a new YouTube channel, grab our feed from Infowars.com/show, and then just restream it, folks. Don't let them stop you.
Yeah, that's actually the way to do it. That's why I did the live stream right now. Is I figured, well, if I couldn't do it, if Alex doesn't have a link,
please, Mike. We think exactly the same. In fact, I meant to call you a few weeks ago about this and ask you to put out our streams until I guess they ban you. I don't care who does it. I don't care about just like you. Monetization means I just want to be able to defeat them. They're openly planning the murder of the president. Well, Mike Cernovich, thanks for coming on, and thanks for letting me have part of your time. A great job breaking all the McMaster news. You have been the trailblazer.
Well, no, it's always a pleasure, Alex. And there's so much going on now, and that is why the support of the people is so important. We need to, again, maybe I'll call you later today or talk this out, but we need to get some kind of event held, flash mobs showing up at the corporate headquarters, every Google office, letting them know that we're not going to let them shut down the Alex Jones YouTube channel. I tried to find your live stream, actually. Let me tell you this while you're still here. I had to start my own YouTube live stream because I tried to find the link to yours on YouTube, and it was hidden from your YouTube page. So I don't know if that's just a glitch or maybe I didn't know.
No, it's happening everywhere. Most people tell us they can't even find our Periscope feed. So everyone listening, please grab our feeds. I should put out like a public HD feed or something for folks that want to get it just for restreaming. And everyone, please restream everything we've got. Please, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, because I couldn't find it. I wanted to share the link and post it to my Twitter whenever I go live. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I can't find the link. I was on your page and I was clicking over the videos. It's worse than that.
YouTube banned us from putting out our own stream 2 weeks ago with the community guidelines strike for talking about Sandy Hook.
Oh, wow. So you're not even allowed to live stream on YouTube now?
No, not on that. No.
Oh, wow.
Not on that channel.
Well, then, wow. Okay. So yeah, I wasn't aware
of that. It's beyond. And they said, you will not say Sandy Hook.
Wow.
Just like Trump Jr. Cannot even put out the jobs numbers. It's just not allowed.
Wow, that explains it, because those live streams that do 10 or 20,000 views all the time, those would do big numbers, and sometimes 50,000 live.
Well, our Facebook does like 200. Well, exactly, and we put out the live one, which they then try to claim copyrights on. So we always kill that and put out an edited down one, because they'll even claim commercial music, that some company runs for Chevy. Oh, that's our music from the Chevy ad, and they'll hit us. So what we do is we have to put out another stream with the ads cut out before the bots go back over. And so our regular one gets about 100,000. It's just one of our little feeds. And then you're right, the repost gets about 20,000. And so they're shutting it all down.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the YouTube live, I remember, because I'd watch the things, it would be 10 to 20,000 simultaneous viewers just on the one YouTube stream. 10 or 20,000 people all watching simultaneously. They just killed that.
Yeah, they said for punishment. I can have to show people the email. Wow. They said for punishment. And they even told us specifically, you're not to talk about Sandy Hook. I can't even come on and say, like I told Megyn Kelly, I think it happened. They want to just misrepresent what I said, put a straw man out, and then not let me even respond.
Wow.
In fact, they'll probably ban my channel just for even saying it. I have no free speach on YouTube now. They've officially told me.
Dude, that is actually insane. That makes total sense, and that explains why. Well,
you got the document 3 months ago where they hired a company for millions to delist us.
Man, well, that's devastating, though. And now they want to make, so now you can't live stream, and now they want to make it so people can't even find your videos. You're going to be put in some kind of ghetto or something.
Well, what I'm telling everybody is this.
This is really bad.
Start a new YouTube channel.
YouTube says it will fight extremist content by censoring controversial videos. Who are they teaming up with to oversee this new program? Must be someone non-partisan, trustworthy, credible. A group that clearly knows the difference between free speech and violent hate speech. Right? It's the Anti-Defamation League, the ADL. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
They write, we'll soon be applying tougher treatment to videos that aren't illegal, but have been flagged by users as potential violations of our policies on hate speech and violent extremism.
And say, I'm not racist, don't censor me. They've already won. They're not supposed to be in the position of censoring. We're in Western society. Unless you're calling for violence against somebody, you have free speech. But they're the ones calling for violence, but notice they're saying, we don't have free speech. And they always turn it around to like, oh, you hate people. I don't hate men that think they're women or vice versa. And if people want to do that, that's their issue. I'm a libertarian.
But wait, I mean, surely YouTube wouldn't just hand power to those who would easily abuse it. This is a serious organisation. The ADL's bar for hate speech must be pretty high, right? I mean, what is it? Advocating for genocide, calling for violence against Jews? Oh, they literally think a cartoon frog is hate speech. That's how low the bar is. The ADL put the grandson of a survivor of the Nazi occupation on a list alongside actual neo-Nazis and white supremacists, simply because he's a conservative.
Google and YouTube banned professor who refused to use gender-neutral pronouns. Professor Jordan B. Peterson of the University of Toronto disputed Google and YouTube's decision to lock him out of his accounts. Please tell me what principle I violated, said Peterson in the email to Google upon discovering he was locked out of his account. The psychology professor has over 300,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which he uses as a platform to post his lectures, interviews, and Q&A.
We'll begin to roll this new treatment out to videos on desktop versions of YouTube in the coming weeks, and we'll bring it to mobile experiences soon thereafter. And they explain that they're going to be able to do this with more experts, saying, of course, our systems are only as good as the data they're based on. Over the past few weeks, we've begun working with more than 15 additional expert NGOs and institutions through our Trusted Flagger program. These organizations bring expert knowledge of complex issues like hate speech, radicalization, and terrorism that will help us better identify content that is being used to radicalize and recruit extremists.
YouTube has also admitted that they're literally going to start manipulating the search results for certain topics and show people videos to try to debunk the ideas that they're looking up. I'm not kidding. So for example, if you're looking for a video about why it's crazy to say that there's 85 different genders, they're going to manipulate the search results to show videos saying why there should be 85 different genders.
Who else is working with YouTube to patrol hate speech? The Institute for Strategic Dialogue, a group that runs a program on far-right extremism in coordination with the Swedish government. Oh, you mean the same Swedish government that put 14,000 people, most of them conservative commentators, on a Twitter hate speech block list. The same Swedish government that put PewDiePie, a dude whose content consists mostly of him playing video games, on that same hate speech block list.
But now there are creators out there who are worried that extremist may become a way to describe any views that YouTube or these corporations disagree with, whether they're actually extreme or not.
Great that you're trying to stop ISIS propaganda and recruitment videos, but it also appears to some that YouTube's attempt to stop extremist videos is also resulting in the coming down on channels that have opinions that aren't popular.
The ADL, the same organization which literally labeled Pepe the Frog, a cartoon frog, as a hate symbol. Pepe the Frog designated a hate symbol by the ADL, a cartoon frog!
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Well, we all knew this day was coming, right? We all knew that the establishment wouldn't let us publish the truth forever here on YouTube and let hundreds of thousands, sometimes even millions of people learn the truth. What is the truth? The truth is that Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, who was also the lobbyist for Google, that's correct. John Podesta was the lobbyist for Google Incorporated. His company, Podesta Group, represented Google's interests in the nation's capital. So Google is covering for this man. They've rolled out massive censorship of me and others. I believe this is in part punishment for my recent videos, which went viral, warning the American people about pedogate, which is very real, right? So Jacob Schwartz, a rising Democratic Party star who was recently booked on CNN, this man who was working in the mayor of New York's office when he was arrested and charged, this man was found with images of infants as young as 6 months old being raped by adult men. Jacob Schwartz is just one example. Anthony Weiner is another example. But pedogate goes quite high up because John Podesta himself, as per his own leaked emails, is a sadistic pedophile. And also, as per his leaked emails, he receives personal invitations to what are known as satanic spirit cookers. Now, WikiLeaks has tweeted and talked about what a spirit cooking event is. I don't have to repeat it here, but it is a satanic event that involves blood, semen, that's sperm, not my last name, and other bodily fluids. So this is real. And now my numbers don't make any sense on YouTube, and to prove it, here's my analytics page. This is a live view of my analytics page. You can see that the domain is youtube.com. It's not a screenshot. I'm not spoofing you guys. This is my live analytics right now. You can see my newest live stream from earlier this morning. 0 live views and 0 archived views. They're fucking me big time. They are fucking me big time. 0 live views and 0 archive views. Then you can see some of the prior videos have done better. But you can see that even the video that went viral about John Podesta being friends with Stephen Colbert, I know it's not up here anymore, it's further down, but that video dropped off a cliff. It was going viral, and then right around 83,000 views, the views dropped to 0. So I believe I'm being censored, and Google, an American company who has American shareholders and must therefore answer to American laws, they should not be censoring my journalism. See, they haven't sent out the notification to most of you because the live viewership right now is insanely low for a weekday. If only 1% of you were watching, that would be 1,500 live viewers. So less, well less than 1% of my own audience is watching. This is censorship, and what they're covering up is so despicable that I'm not going to walk away in shame. I'm not going to walk away and be quiet. I'm going to be loud as hell, because what they're putting kids through is hell. What John Podesta does is despicable. It turns my stomach. And one of the videos that attacks me, actually, if everybody could report that video, that would be great. I'm going to bring it up. It's a disgusting video. They edited me together so that it seems like I'm always gulping, and they try to make it seem like I'm gulping because I'm a greedy Jew. I gulp because I'm a greedy Jew. No, actually I gulp because I have serious nausea problems, and without medical grade cannabis, I do sometimes throw up. I get so nauseous that sometimes I throw up. So as a result, unfortunately, sometimes I gulp, and we do our best to minimize that. We do our best to cut it out of recorded broadcasts. But since I'm live, you're going to see me gulp every now and then. Big fucking deal. But they tried to make it out to be some kind of character flaw, like I'm this gross person who's just gulping on the internet all day and stealing people's money, even though I've lost money and have lost critical business relationships as a result of covering Pedogate. The only reason I have more money now than I did last year, the only reason why I have a nice car now, I drive a nice Ford, a 2017 Ford, the only reason that I get to travel and have a pretty good life is that I invested in Ether last year when it was worth a fraction of what it's worth today. And it's true, I've done very well from Ethereum. It is true. I'm friends with one of the creators. It's simply true that I've done very well, but I haven't done well from covering Pedogate. That's a flat out lie, and I don't gulp because I'm greedy. I gulp because, as I explained, I have a medical condition. Now here's the video I'd love for you guys to report, because when anybody searches for David Seaman on YouTube, this piece of garbage comes up. It's the one called Lifting the Veil on David Seaman. So feel free to watch it if you want, but what I really want you to do is click on the flag and report it. This has been watched by 16,000 strangers. Some of those people have threatened me. Some of them have contacted me and threatened me, because if your only exposure to me is that video, you would believe I'm a person who's just 24/7 ruthlessly stealing money from people under the guise of I'm going to save the kids for you, and that's really not my MO. All these videos are put out for free. What the fuck? So report that guy, because that's led to violent threats against me. Not okay. Crowd stalking is not okay. Someone has a new nickname for YouTube, NaziTube. I like it. YouTube's CEO is a psycho. YouTube's CEO is a social justice warrior psycho. Social justice warrior psycho. I mean, she's censoring me because I'm hate speech. Not so much. I'm a Jew. I'm a minority. I'm going to pull out my Jew card today. I never thought I would do it. Here I am doing it, pulling out my Jew card. How am I hate speech? How am I alt-right hate speech when I'm a fucking Jew? I don't get that. And look, here's the CEO of YouTube. When somebody interrupted the CEO of YouTube, when someone interrupted Susan, she labeled it sexual microaggression. So we're dealing with a social justice warrior psycho. If somebody is so deluded, if she's so disconnected from the common man and woman who still goes to the grocery store, if this bitch at YouTube on her Razor scooter on the Google campus in Mountain View, California, scooting around, if she's so disconnected from the rest of us that she simply thinks being interrupted by another mortal is a sexual or a sexist microaggression against her, then there's something wrong with her head. Then her brain's broken. And if her brain's that broken, you can understand why the crazy CEO of YouTube or her crazy management team would consider me a Jew who used to write for Huffington Post and Business Insider, and before that was a staff writer for TheStreet.com, which is founded by Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer was my boss. Not certain of this, but it sounds like a Jewish name. I always assumed Kramer was a Jew. That was the first corporate media outlet I wrote for. So my first media company was writing for a Jew. I'm a Jew myself. And yet I'm labeled alt-right hate speech and my notifications don't go out as a result. Well, somebody is psycho here, and it's not me. It's crazy CEO Susan whatever at YouTube who thinks that somebody interrupting her in the midst of a conversation is a sexist microaggression. Of course, somebody who thinks that through those fucked up lenses, perhaps she does regard me as far-right hatred. Is wearing a baseball cap far-right hatred? Is not being an out-of-touch multimillionaire on the Google campus who supported Hillary, does that mean that I'm about far-right hatred? I mean, this is insane. This is insane. She's an SJW nutjob. They're censoring me on my own channel. They're destroying YouTube, which is not a good thing to do because Google owns YouTube and they have a commitment to their shareholders not to destroy shareholder value. They're acting from a place of ideology, not from a place of capitalism, and that concerns me. I mean, what I'm saying here does not deserve to be censored. It simply is not hate speech. Someone says support from Paris, France. Love you, David. Merci, merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. I mean, I don't feel like a free person in my own country. I really don't. I do not feel like a free person. An American tech company, YouTube, is censoring me. You can confirm I've had a YouTube account since 2008. I've been here since 2008. Why only now am I encountering problems like this? When I log into my YouTube account, I see issues like this. This just popped up. Why only now, when I've been here since 2008, am I seeing issues like this? And are my notifications not going out? Why only now?
YouTube and Google are trying to kill free speech. The good news is they're not the only ones. So don't worry, it's not just them. No. Now, YouTube and Google, bless your hearts. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you for this. Thank you for allowing us to be able to make you even more money. Thank you for allowing us to speak and to confabulate and conviviate and deal with each other, and to allow you and Google and Alphabet or whatever the hell it is to expand beyond anything anybody's ever seen. This is a little different. Now, here's the problem. Trying to get people to understand why this matters to them, because as you know, a lot of people in my beloved republic, if it doesn't affect them directly, they say, well, whatever, I don't know, whatever, I'm busy. I don't know. What do I have to hide? I don't do that. Hey, maybe it's a good idea. I don't know. I can't be bothered. Whatever. That's America. That's how we think. Now, here's the story. YouTube, a while back, was putting up videos. Kind of like, or allowing, not YouTube wasn't putting them up, but people put up videos like I'm doing right now. And what we do is we monetize them. And that's great because when a bunch of people like our videos and watch our videos, we could work a deal, so to speak, through Google and AdSense with, let's say, I don't know, Ford or Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, or whoever, great American companies that can say, hey, that guy, Lionel Nation, he's got a lot of followers. Let's have Google or Alphabet or whatever the hell it is put an ad in the beginning. You know those ads you see? Those ads in the beginning, they sometimes it's like wait for 5 seconds or they pop up or whatever. Well, guess what? We make money. We make money. It's the American way. Capitalism, right? Good. It's terrific. We put stuff out. You like them. Companies see we're doing a great job. They want to be a part of our growing people. You're watching this right now, and if companies are smart, they're going to say, you know what, I like these people. This Lionel Nation has some very interesting topics. He's got some people there who are very smart and educated and liquid, and not only that, he's got a fancy mug. That's right, available on Lionel merchandise. Now, that's terrific. Now, there were, I don't know how many billions of videos, I don't even know, who knows, all over the world. And then lo and behold, sometimes ISIS, or somebody purporting to be ISIS, would slip through the cracks. And all of a sudden, there's some ad for ISIS beheading people and Sharia, whatever the hell ISIS does, or Daesh, or Al-Nusra, or whatever name they go by through this week. Anyway, wow. A lot of folks went to Google, Alphabet, YouTube, and said, hey, what's this? We've got, I don't want to say macaroni and cheese, but I've got this, oven mitt company, or whatever the hell is, kind of the same group that makes Hillary's clothes. Our ad is with an ISIS video? What are you doing? What's going on here? This is terrible. Don't take our name off that. You know what? We don't want to be a part of this anymore. Now, it would make sense to me if I was YouTube to say, hey, I've got an idea. Why don't we just prevent, now listen to me, it's kind of a novel idea. Why don't we just prevent ISIS videos from going up on YouTube? And it sounds good, doesn't it? I mean, if you have beheadings and death to the infidel, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese might say, we really don't want to be a part of that. That's kind of not our placement, and who could blame them? By the way, Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, a fine, fine product. Now, that would make sense, wouldn't it? But no. Now, they went a little bit crazy. What they did was they just started. If you put up a video that isn't necessarily violative, or something that does not violate per se the rules of engagement, the rules and the terms and conditions, what happens is, and this is important, can we close that door, honey? Thanks. What's important, and this is critical, is that when you do this, and when this happens, you could have your video, your piece, your whatever this thing is that you do, it could be not recommended, not in the rotation of recommended, not able to be liked, not taken down, not banned per se, but in essence, not available. And nobody can like it or comment on it. It's not banned. It's just not there. Isn't that great? It's just not there. And what if you say, wait a minute, I want to write something favorable about hate speech, meaning that I'm against hate speech. Sorry, can't do it. You won't see it. No, I'm not advocating hate speech. I'm advocating non-hate speech. Well, sorry. And as you know, when algorithms are put into place, when you pass a law, and the law is general, it tends to claim victims that it never intended to get in the first place. Remember a while back when they had things like no nudity, and they had, this is before, you know, AI and algorithms and the like. Women who basically did breast self-examination, you know, spots. That was considered violative. And there was a while back, there was a horrible, thank God the Ninth Circuit acted accordingly, but there was a case in which they said that people who reveal or who deal with talks about sex with children, sex crimes, child pornography, but it was written so poorly that a woman who actually wrote a diary, who actually spoke about her own trauma to purge and to deal with and to enact some type of closure in her own life and to get other people who were involved in this, she was banned. So whenever you have something that says we're going to ban hate speech, no matter how careful these parameters are, no matter how careful and specific the limitations of the editing and expurgation and bowdlerizing are, no matter how much it is, and no matter how exacting you are, I am telling you, and I say this again, I am telling you that you're going to get problems. But you'll never know this because it won't be banned. It's not in violation of anything. It's just in some YouTube limbo. We don't know where it is. It's somewhere. It's not banned. Just nobody can find it. And it's never recommended. You know when you look at YouTube and it says recommended, like, oh, that's interesting because it figures out, oh, this guy likes, you like bowling videos. Oh, and you like crock pot recipes. Oh, well, then you'll like this. And it sends you off accordingly. Now, here's what happens. And I know what you're going to say. Nobody has a right to have a YouTube posted on video. And you're 100% correct. Nobody has the right to be monetized. You're 100% correct. YouTube, Alphabet, Google, that's not the government. Well, we'll talk about that later on. Because we are fascists. This is corporate meets, it merges with government. We'll talk about that later on. But you're correct. You're correct. The only problem with this is that speech is being limited and you're being habituated to speech being limited. You're being conditioned. You're being taught. You're used to it. You're being told it's okay. Oh, I get it now. Yes. I see what's happening. Oh, okay, yes. Well, they're going to ban it. Well, of course, yes. Well, Twitter, but yeah, well, Twitter knocked them off. That was hate speech. Well, Facebook, well, they've got to do something here, and Twitter, and Instagram did it too. Oh, and that blog came down, and that picture came down, and they're going to hit you with copyright. They're going to use that as a means of speech. And believe me when I tell you this, YouTube, Google, Alphabet, whatever, does not care in the least about hate speech. Anybody that basically provides the information so that governments like the Chinese government and others can basically find dissenters and dissidents, come on. Do no evil. Give me a break. If you think for 1 minute that Tim Cook or whoever this guy's name is or any of the Sergey or whoever these folks are at Google, if you think for 1 minute that they give a damn about whether ISIS is promoted, no. They're doing it for different reasons. Number one, social engineering, social brainwashing, social programming, conditioning you, habituating you, making you used to limitations on speech from the people who brought you microaggressions and trigger warnings and politically correct nonsense. You are being hit with this left and right, and you're becoming used to it. Number two, these guys make so much money, YouTube and Alphabet, on this is my favorite nail color. I unboxed my new iPhone. That kind of stuff. Believe me, they're not going to miss some anti-fascist rant or some pro-Trump, MAGA drain the swamp video. They don't care about that. Believe me. Believe me. And are they necessarily anti-Trump or anti-right? It doesn't even get to that. Now here's the in conclusion. Let's assume you're a lefty, and let's assume you answer to lefty, and let's assume you're a liberal, progressive, anti-Trump, pro-Hillary, lefty Bernie Sanders, transgendered, crypto, whatever the hell you are. Anytime you limit that speech, you're next. Anytime you can't comment on the subject in one way, you can't comment it at all. It's not that they're going to be fine with certain types of speech. They're going to say one day, you know what? We don't want to talk about transgenders at all. And you say, oh, no, you don't understand. Excuse me, you've confused me. I'm not a right-winger. I'm no. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are a problem. You who talk about this subject matter. You who discuss this. I don't care from what angle. You sat back. You know, it almost sounds like that. When they came for my neighbor, I didn't say anything, or I was quiet. When they came for the Jews, I didn't say anything. And then when they came for me, there was nobody to... Okay. It's kind of like that in a way. Because anytime speech is limited, anytime speech. Now, remember, all YouTube and Alphabet or whatever had to do was basically say, hey, enough with these pro-ISIS beheading videos. But that's not it. So when you hear people that are normally associated with pro-Trump, alt-right, conservative, whatever it is, and you think, well, that's just, they're getting their due, and it's a good idea, and frankly, what the hell do I care if I don't even watch that crap? I don't even post videos. I don't even watch YouTube. I'm busy. I got a ball game to catch. I don't know anything about this, and so what? And hey, rules are rules, and these are private companies, and they can make up their own rules. No shirt, no shoes, no service. Kind of like think of it as a verbal or ideological dress code. If you think that, you're dumber than I thought, and I know you're not dumb because you're watching this. This is huge. Now, what do? You bitch, you moan, retweet this, and raise holy hell. The best way to exert your particular freedom of speech or to kill something is not watch it. Not watch it, not notice it, but accept all speech, because the moment they get rid of this guy's speech, your speech is next. It's that simple. Like the video, comment below as long as you can, subscribe to the channel, and comment, as I said, as you see fit.
So it talks about the machine learning here, better detection and faster removal driven by machine learning. I'm always incredibly dubious about machine learning. It's why I was very skeptical about Candid and that kind of thing. But obviously, machine learning is really the only way YouTube can operate if there is an immediate need to remove content. There's too much content being uploaded to YouTube. So the options are this. They either have to implement some form of machine learning, or they limit the amount of content that's uploaded to their platform. I don't like the latter solution, so the former seems reasonable. You can see here that they're learning and improving their systems here. Our machine learning systems are faster and more effective than ever before. 75% of the videos we've removed violent extremism over the past month were taken down before receiving a single human flag. The accuracy of our systems has improved dramatically, and you can see scale. It allows us to be everywhere all at once. So I'm not going to focus too much on the machine learning thing, other than to say machine learning is all well and good, YouTube, but right now what you don't have is a robust appeals process that can be used. That if machine learning is inaccurate, you send out a bunch of generic emails to people saying, look, my content's been removed. Please, can you just take a look at it? Can a human just look at it? Yeah, So that's going to be a problem moving forward. Machine learning is part of the issue. You must have a robust and clear appeals process for people who believe their content was removed in error. Until you've got that, rolling this out is a problem because the machine learning could, you know, block more videos, right? And then you don't have an appeals process, or you don't have people who are willing to take a look at things because of the man hours. So that's something to be mindful of. More experts. Now, this is where things start to get, dare I say it, problematic. Because, keep in mind, they've said this is about terror, right? So they must be talking to intelligence agencies and people with expertise in counterterrorism. No, they're not. You can see here, over the past weeks, we've begun working with more than 15 additional expert NGOs and institutions through our Trusted Flagger program, including the Anti-Defamation League, the No Hate Speech Movement, and the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. Now, I'm going to just move away from this blog here, and unfortunately, the way XSplit works means that I'm going to have to just reset these so you can't see it, because that's how it'll display unless I overcrank it for some reason because of transparency. What I'm going to do now is I want to talk about the Anti-Defamation League. The idea that they are credible experts in what constitutes hate, and keep in mind, they haven't even talked about hate yet. Nowhere has that appeared, you know, it's certainly not in the headline. It's about combating terror, right? And violent extremism. These are the words they've used. The Anti-Defamation League lost all credibility with, I'm sure, with all of you who watch my videos, because they said Pepe was a fucking equivalent of a swastika. They said a cartoon frog was a symbol of hate. And they continued to embarrass themselves by expanding what is and what isn't white supremacist symbols. They basically dance to the tune of the progressive left now. And they state things that are patently absurd. Now, I certainly have an issue with the Anti-Defamation League dictating what is and what isn't hate speech if they classify Pepe as a symbol of hate speech. I've used a Pepe in a few of my videos. In fact, I've got a 50-minute video talking about the evolution of Pepe and how he became this ridiculous hate symbol. Me and Sam laughing about it, right? That's the producer, Sam, that way. You know, what the fuck? Like, those are not credible experts you should be bringing to the table when it comes to censorship. They're hysterical. It's absurd. But I looked at some of these other companies and you know, businesses that are supposedly going to be involved, and it's terrifying. Let me just find one for you here. Hang on. So you saw that they had the what they call the ISD, that's the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. So, you know, I clicked on that, and again, it doesn't really look to be about terrorism, so I'll just bring up what that looks like here, so you can see for yourself. Here it is. You can see it's all about, you know, powering grassroots networks worldwide against hate and extremism. And again, we all want to shut down extremism, and we all want to shut down hate speech, but all of a sudden, you know, the lines are kind of blurred, aren't they? You know, like hate speech has become the okay symbol. Hate speech has become a cartoon frog. We're being told that the alt-right, a term that had nothing to do with neo-Nazism or white supremacy, just because it's been co-opted by Richard Spencer, now means Nazis, and if anybody has ever used that term, they can never renounce it or take it back. We're seeing people, just ridiculous choices of people like Mike Cernovich being added to databases on white supremacy because of his anti-feminist stance, conflating all sorts of nonsense. This concerns me even more. This is the other group that's been included. You can see here, the No Hate Speech Movement. And what it is a database to monitor, share, and discuss hate speech content on the internet. Right? Well, what this means is, against your will, against your knowledge, somebody can see a tweet of yours, or an article you wrote, or a video you made, and they can upload it to this database, and it's there now. It's now archived as hate speech. I don't consider that a reasonable thing to be doing at all. And it gets worse. You know, if you look at the front page, It says, here's some of the recent reports that we've received. They're saying Donald Trump should be banned from Twitter after he tweeted out his anti-trans in the military ban. And that hasn't been deleted as spam or stupid. I suppose that's taken as a credible report. These people are absurd. And I don't want these people deciding what YouTube videos can and can't stay on YouTube, but that's what YouTube are enabling. YouTube have said that's absolutely fine. We're all about that life. So these are the people now that are going to be dictating whether or not, or partially dictating whether or not a video can stay, or whether it can't, or whether it's judged to be extreme, and everything else. Now, keep in mind, again, you will notice that the Anti-Defamation League, the No Hate Speech Movement, the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, they're not talking about terrorism, are they? I mean, you didn't see any terrorism on the website. They're talking about hate. And this is where we kind of get into this battle of semantics. I suppose right-wing extremists, yes, they absolutely are terrorists when they organize, mobilize, and commit acts of terror to a political end, which is the definition of terrorism. So I have no issue with that, and it should be tackled. But it's the same for radical Islam. Now, I don't see any mention of that on any of these sites, and if that was supposedly what this was all about, maybe you've chosen some poor partners in terms of expertise. I would have liked to have seen at least one expert in that particular field, because there's no getting away from it, unfortunately. Radical Islamists are giving the rest of Islam a bad name through their sustained campaigns against the West. And yes, they do use social media to radicalize and recruit. Twitter has had this problem with ISIS directly recruiting and advertising their atrocities on the Twitter platform. These are things to be concerned about. A Pepe in your video isn't. Anyway, now we can go back to these tougher standards, because this is a problem for me. They're saying that even if you don't break the rules, if your content is of a certain type, it will be held up to more rigid standards than other types of content. This is a way of framing bias, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're doing. They are saying, hey, we're going to be biased towards certain types of content, but there's a good reason for it, and we're going to try and explain that reason now. So I'm going to go back to this page here, the original one. You'll have to excuse me while I just reset the color here, because it's a bit of a, hang on, which way do I go? Yes, there it is, right. So, tougher standards. All right, we'll soon be applying tougher treatment to videos that aren't illegal, but have been flagged by users as potential violations of our policies on hate speech. And again, they include violent extremism. If we find that these videos don't violate our policies, but contain controversial religious or supremacist content, they will be placed in a limited state. Now, these terms, and all big companies do this, all big social media companies do this, all big media companies do this. They like to have nebulous terms, don't they? They like to have terms that they will never quantify, that they will never specify, because then they can't apply them as and when they want. Then there's no leeway to be biased. There's no leeway to show preference. If you define something clearly, then there's no room for negotiation on it. And they absolutely can't have that, because companies like this must play favorites. Now, for example, I've seen plenty of videos on YouTube that condemn white people and say white people should be killed, that we need a race war, that white people are somehow inherently evil. If you refuse to acknowledge your white prejudice, you should be put in prison. Yeah, I've seen it all, okay? Now, I've also seen videos of Holocaust deniers. I've seen videos of people that talk about ridiculous things like the white race being superior to the black race. All of those people, to me, are hateful, and all of those people are engaging in hate speech. Yet it's only one set of videos, the latter two examples that I see get deleted. Meanwhile, it's become the norm, even in academic circles, it's okay to say white people deserve to die. I think if you say anybody deserves to die predicated on nothing more than the color of their skin, you are a racist. That is my definition. That is the dictionary definition. That is what it has always meant. And all the hand-wringing in your academic institutions, where progressives have tried so hard to alter established definitions to suit their agenda, it's not going to change what the average person thinks. And nor should it be allowed to skirt on this platform. But they haven't said that, have they? It's religious and supremacist content. So in other words, how I will take this is, if somebody attacks Christianity, it will be fine. If somebody attacks Islam, it will not be fine. Supremacist, if somebody says white people deserve to die, it will be deemed a thought exercise. If somebody says something derogatory about people of color, it will be removed. That is certainly the rule that's in place. This appears to me to be a more open, yet still Orwellian and masked attempt to bring that rule in. Now, obviously, I could be wrong about this. Maybe the vagueness of language is because they do intend to equally enforce things. But I don't know. I've certainly got my concerns. This looks to me to be a way to clamp down on your Paul Joseph Watsons, your Cernoviches, your Stefan Molyneux. You know who these people are. You might not agree with their views, but they don't violate YouTube's policies, and they have hugely successful YouTube channels. And this seems to be the back door through which they will get them, finally. The videos will remain on YouTube behind an interstitial, won't be recommended, won't be monetized, and won't have key features including comments, suggested videos, and likes. So in other words, this is kind of the video equivalent of a shadow ban. Your video will not be removed. You might not even be aware that it is in this state. But you will not get money for it. Comments will not be allowed on it. Suggested videos will not pop up, and people will not be able to like it. You will only realize through the lack of engagement. And then it says here, we'll begin to roll this new treatment out to videos on desktop versions in the coming weeks, and we'll bring it to mobile experiences soon thereafter. These new approaches entail significant new internal tools and processes, and will take time to fully implement. So in other words, we're going to see what we can get away with as we roll this out, and if it causes a huge backlash, we'll put it down to it being teething problems. So, now it gets to the stuff that, sure, we can totally, again, agree with this. Or can we? Well, let's have a look. It says here, we've started rolling out features from Jigsaw's redirect method to YouTube. And this is when people search for sensitive keywords on YouTube, they'll be redirected towards a playlist of curated YouTube videos that directly confront and debunk violent extremist messages. Well, hang on a minute. I thought we were removing violent extremist content. I thought we're removing it. There's no need to redirect. But here's what they're talking about now. This new method, which has been tried and tested, is basically if people search for certain things, again, let's say, for example, you were an idiot who didn't think the Holocaust happened, and you looked at Holocaust denial on YouTube, it might bring you up a video of somebody saying, this is why it didn't happen, it's all a conspiracy, you know, some moron like that. But what it'll actually do is it'll direct you to the contrary, to evidence. Now that to me seems perfectly fine when framed like that. This is again ripe for abuse though, isn't it? For example, we might see a video from, again, let's use Paul Joseph Watson as an example. Paul Joseph Watson might put a video out, and instead of you might want to have his opinions. Well, instead of getting his opinions, you're directed to something that counters it. Now, who is to say and who is to measure that the counter to a Paul Joseph Watson video is in any way more accurate or reliable than the Paul Joseph Watson video itself? Who are making those determinations? It's not clear, is it? And that's a problem to me, because we've seen other companies, and indeed Google again, got in bed with people like Snopes, who we know aren't partisan. And it's for the fake news detector on Google. And this is about controlling a message. Yes, some sources are unreliable. It's up to the reader to determine that. You've got to be sensible. But ever since Trump got elected, people are like, oh my God, this wouldn't have happened without the blogosphere. So now, people who don't want to see a Trump type get elected again, they're doubling down and they're controlling messages through their platform. We've seen Zuckerberg do this with Facebook, getting in bed with media companies, having websites that are deemed to be unreliable removed regardless of whether or not their reporting is sound. We've seen InfoWars completely blanket banned on Reddit. And again, I'm no big believer in InfoWars as a source. I certainly wouldn't ever cite them as credible. But what I will say is they're not wrong on every single piece they put out. They don't deserve to be blanketly censored by a big company like that. People have to be sensible enough to determine themselves what is fake and what isn't. And you should apply that to all media. When you get in bed with a group like Snopes and they say, well, you could totally believe the mainstream media over here, when we see hundreds of retractions every year from the mainstream media where they got things wrong. Yet in no way does this seem to harm their credibility. Meanwhile, people are like, well, these websites are bad and they publish fake news. Why? People should be as equally cynical. So this is, again, concerning because it seems to me to be a way to control the message and decide what information is valid on behalf of you. Well, I don't like that. You should have the sense in your head to be able to make that determination without the help of a big corporation that has a vested interest in getting a Democrat into the White House. Anyway, continues, because we will also continue to amplify YouTube voices speaking out against hate and radicalization through our YouTube Creators for Change program. This is basically where they take a bunch of YouTubers who, you know, there's some decent content creators in amongst them, but there's certainly some I've never heard of, and I don't think their content is anything to shout about, but they give them a platform because what they're doing is they represent either a minority group or they're talking about problems that a minority group faces, or specifically they talk about radicalization and terrorism. So fine, you do that. It's your platform, you do what you want. They hosted a workshop, blah, blah, blah. And we also pledged to expand the program's reach to 20,000 more teens across the UK. Teens, of course. Over the weekend, we hosted our latest Creators for Change workshop in Bandung, Indonesia, where creators teamed up with Indonesia's Marif Institute to teach young people about the importance of diversity, pluralism, and tolerance. And altogether, we have taken significant steps over the last month in our fights against online terrorism, but this is not the end. We know there is always more work to be done with the help of new machine learning technology, deep partnerships, ongoing collaborations with other companies through the Global Internet Forum and our vigilant community. Shout out to all you YouTube heroes, of course. We are confident we can continue to make progress against this ever-changing threat. We look forward to sharing more with you in the months ahead. So, you know, look, I don't know. Am I paranoid? Am I crazy? Does this not sound like they're not really focused on the radicalization of people to join Islamic terrorist groups? To join any terrorist group? It actually sounds to me what they're particularly bothered about is their platform being used by popular counterculture iconoclasts to present alternative messages to the mainstream media and to the progressive left. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's what it looks like to me. And I've got grave concerns about what they're talking about. I don't like the idea of if I go to find a video, it's not there. Hey, but here's a video that says the complete opposite, just in case. Let's get those thoughts out your head. How do I know this is accurate? We're telling you it is. This is crazy. And it's going a bit too far for me. Now, also, I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to big companies. So at the time of recording this, it was just brought to my attention that, and the issue has been resolved now, and again, I'll just quickly reset all the colors, but Jordan Peterson tweeted out that his YouTube account had been disabled with no explanation given, and he couldn't access it. at all. And then this was resolved a few hours later. No message, no explanation, no nothing. Guess there's a few gremlins in the system. Weird how they always seem to target the same people, isn't it? So, yeah. Keep an eye on this, because it's another step towards certain types of content not being welcome on YouTube. And it's not the type you think it is. Nobody wants white supremacists recruiting on YouTube. Nobody wants radical Islamists recruiting on YouTube. Nobody wants that. The people who are going to get swept up and penalized don't represent either of those two things. This is about sanitizing YouTube, and now they've got the license to do it, and they'll do it wholesale. My opinion. Anyway, if you disagree, you know what to do. Let me know what you think. But certainly, yeah, we need a viable YouTube alternative, and we need it soon, I think. Otherwise, a lot of people are gonna struggle, and there's going to be a lot of hard work for nothing. Smaller creators like myself, probably is going to have been a complete waste of time. All it's going to take is somebody to link them to one episode of my podcast, and that's that, isn't it? Out of the game. So, yeah, dark times ahead, but we'll muddle through. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching the video, and I'll catch you on the next one.